Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DJ and the Zooms. I am Jay, and today we are chatting with Bree, who I've met through the same group chat as everyone else. Hi, Editing Jay here, just popping in to let you know that this episode was recorded in advance. So some of the events that we're going to mention happened a few weeks ago. Some of the events that were in our future at the time already happened, but I thought the episode with Alondra was too important and too urgent, so I really wanted to post it in between the episodes that were a little more light-hearted and only just chatted about our love of Formula One. Another thing that I wanted to say is this is the last episode in the winter series about fandom and the love of the sport. And I'm going to take a little break now because I'm starting a new job tomorrow. And it's been a while since I've had a real job that requires everyday attention all day, every day. And I want to give myself a chance to really get into it and get used to that rhythm again. So I'll see you when the season starts, and we'll have regular episodes again, coming back on the races in the week that comes after each race once they've started again. I still love you and enjoy this episode. Hi, Bree.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm very happy to be really chatting with you for the first
Me
time.
too. I know, me too.
Yeah, because you're one of the OGs from the group chat, so it's kind
Yep.
of, I'm a little starstruck.
Yeah, Corinne and I started this whole thing. I was so grateful to have met her in another group chat that was not so good, but it led me to her. So I'm grateful for that. And then we opened our own and recruited a few people from Threads or wherever we could find a few people. And we've created a really good group. Like, I love this group of women so much. You guys
Hmm.
make the sport so much more exciting for me, like race weekends and stuff. I'm like, I love that group chat. I'm like, what's everyone saying? Like, I gotta check in. Like, it's so much fun and so much more fun to have this group
Hmm.
on race weekends. So I'm happy you're all there.
Yeah, I thought you already knew Corinne from before.
We had met, like, yeah, just in another group chat that we were in for a little while. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was how we met.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so nice how we just meet people from all over the world and create connections through this sport that we all love so much.
I know, I know. It's so cool. I love that everyone's from everywhere too, and like we can connect on this one thing, but everyone has their opinions and everyone has their different outlooks, and it's been really, really neat to have this group and just see everyone's different perspectives.
100%. And yeah, it's respectful yet colorful and I can't find the right word, but we're all different with different opinions and different
Mhm.
preferences, and yet there's never been any hint of an issue.
It's true, yeah. It's funny the like group we've created here because like you can say whatever and you can have an opinion and I could not agree with that opinion, but I'm still like, it's interesting, like good take on that. Like nobody fights. We're not like we're not out to get each other.
Mm.
It's such a nice community that we've created and I'm so grateful that it worked out this way.
Yeah, honestly, me too. It's really nice, and yeah, it's always heartwarming to find community in that way, and it is really exciting, and it makes the sport even more enjoyable. As you said, we're all excited to see whenever anything happens, uh, how people are going to react. This past,
Exactly.
what day is it today? Sunday. This past weekend, Alex got engaged, Alex Albon,
Mhm.
who anyone who listens to this
That's cute.
podcast knows that I love him with my whole entire heart.
Me too, me too.
So, of course, who wouldn't? He's such an
Exactly.
obvious sweetheart. So, Yeah, and to see everyone just, oh my God, this thing just happened in the
Yeah.
world of Formula One. Let's share it together and discuss. And
Our
it
close
is.
personal friend Alex Albon got engaged.
Yeah, I did have the sort of very Gen Z reaction, which has nothing to do with my actual generation or age. To say my mom and dad just got engaged.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
gotta love them
it
so
was
much.
really
They're
nice.
so cute. I know.
Mm,
I love all of Williams, honestly, and like I'm Vowles, that man. I have such a crush on him. So the whole Williams team, I just love all of them. Carlos, Alex, James, the whole package.
yeah, and okay, we can get back to that. Let's put a pin in it. Because first, I would like to ask you how you started watching Formula One. How did you get into it?
Yeah, so my saga begins with Daniel Ricardo and the Armchair Expert podcast. So
Oh.
yeah, so like I was a religious listener of that podcast because I used to commute for work and I would just put on oh my god, Dax and Monica and listen to whoever. Like I just let it play through. I never really picked. I just like whoever was the guest, that's what I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
listen to. So of course, Daniel came on the one time in like what, like 2020 or something. I was just looking it up. I'm like, when was that? So he was still
Yeah.
with Renault at the time. And yeah, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, and I love an Aussie.
Uh-huh.
Always. I just love an Aussie. My favorite human, my great like aunt, my mom's friend is from Australia. So that set the benchmark for me. She was always around when I was a little kid. So like I love an Aussie.
Mm.
Anyway, so he comes on, he's chatting away. I'm like, what is this F1? Like I'm not a sports girly like at
Okay.
all. I don't really watch sports. I don't really pay attention. I'm like in the zeitgeist, like I have three boys, so like they play hockey, they play sports, and like that's my benchmark of sports. I'm like, drive them to sports, pick them up from sports, watch them play sports, whatever. Like, but I'm not big into anything else. Like, I'll
Mm.
watch the Super Bowl, I suppose, if they're watching the Super Bowl, like I'm gonna watch it with them. But that's it. So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, what's this Drive to Survive thing? Let's watch that. It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? So I watched that. I'm like, this is interesting. It's a little soap opera esque with a little sports mixed in, like all the drama with these guys and whatever. And then, like the rest of your guests have said, this group chat has a theme. I just got sucked right in. Like it just the vortex picked me up and here we are. Now I'm like obsessed. I watch every practice. I watch everything I can. If it's at 3 in the morning, I'm potentially up watching that. And if not, I'm watching it before I even look at social media in the morning. Like I
Mm-hmm.
am locked in and it's so funny. But yeah, Daniel Ricardo, I guess, is my
It
my
was the way in.
entrance point. Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
then watched his career and then so on and so forth. And here we are.
So you started watching around 2020,
Yeah.
right after COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's really interesting. I don't know if you've listened to the episode with Brianda already, because I mentioned the Armchair Expert podcast.
Yeah.
And I do love, I'm a very big fan of Kristen Bell.
Me too.
And so I when I came to listening to the podcasts because of that, and I didn't listen to every episode because I guess I started to get interested in it later on, and then stopped listening to it after a
Mhm.
while, so I didn't catch up on the episodes that happened before. But I did listen to the Daniel Ricciardo episode when I started watching Formula One, because
Okay, fair enough.
I
Yeah.
had like a hunger, an unquenchable thirst for knowledge about Formula One, and I had to listen to every episode of any podcast of everything. And I remember how down to earth and approachable Daniel felt in that episode.
Yeah.
Which also was a very appealing thing, that makes you feel more comfortable and more welcomed into a new sport when like you, I'm not a sports girly and I don't know much about it in general. The reason why I wanted to ask you first how you got into F1 is because we were talking about loving Williams, and I have loved Williams ever since watching Drive to Survive because
Okay.
we love an underdog, obviously, everybody does. And Claire Williams just touched my heart so
Yeah,
deeply because she found herself in such a tough situation, and also as a woman trying to navigate a man's world, really. I felt like that resonated with me really, and I don't know, I felt close to her and I wanted her to succeed. And
succeed.
it's the fact that it didn't work out quite as well as she would have liked and we would have liked was sort of heartbreaking. And so seeing Williams do so well lately and get back up and keep going, that's, I think, even outside of Formula One, outside of sports in general, it's a lesson that feels so important to learn that
Totally.
you just fall 7 times and get back up 8 kind of thing, which I
So
love.
true. So,
Hmm.
so true. And yeah, that's definitely part of it. Like they just were like the bottom so much. And then you're just like, okay, just keep pushing. Like, just keep trying. Just keep going. And then they did. And like, look at them now. Like, and who knows what this year is going to be like, which like, it's going to be so interesting to see and
Yeah.
what underdogs are going to come to the top and which of the powerhouses are going to be at the bottom. Like it's going to be so interesting. But yeah, it's been so fun to watch Williams climb this mountain the way they have.
And exactly the way they have, because they didn't do it by stepping on anyone else's toes. They did it really by huddling up together and building and working hard. And they still seem like the adorable good guys that they already seemed when they were at the very bottom and struggling,
Exactly.
which is so cool.
Yeah, it's true. I know. I love that about them. They're just cute. Like the whole team thing is cute. You could tell like they have this family, like
Yeah.
very warm, very welcoming thing going on. And yeah, I do love that about them.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And I agree with you on James Vowles. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I have a crush on him because as far as team principals go, Laurent Mekies has my heart.
Fair, fair.
And I'm partial to a curl. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I can't help it.
That's
It's
hilarious.
so yeah. There was Daniel Ricciardo, there's Lando, and there's Laurent, and that's it.
Perfect.
But but James does there's something so great about the way he explains things and how he makes you feel calm and just, yeah, I don't know, I love him.
He's
He's
just dorky and so and cute and like he's just likable, right? So you're just kind of like,
yeah.
what's he got to say today? And the social team knows exactly what they're doing when they put him on there and just let him be his dorky little self and explain things to us.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I don't remember, I'm thinking about, I don't remember if it was in Silverstone or if I saw it on Instagram. But there was, you might have seen it, a an interview with the drivers, and it was Alex and Carlos, and obviously we're talking about Williams, and an interview with the drivers is obviously going to be Alex and Carlos. And they had to, it was a quiz. They had to answer questions about the history of Formula One. And there was a
Okay.
question that they didn't know the answer to, and they decided to call
Oh,
James on his
I
cell
think I
phone.
saw this. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like these two just out of nowhere can just pick up their phone and call James, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna know and he's gonna pick
Yeah.
up and there's no problem."
That's so cute.
It was so adorable.
I love that.
Which ties well to you were saying James is a dog. For the past 2, 3 weeks, yeah, 3 weeks of episodes, we have come to the conclusion, and I'd like to put it by you, that Formula One is a nerd's sport,
I think so. Yeah.
obviously.
100%. Like, you have to be interested in like the most random things to be into this sport. Like, why do we care about the tires? And why do we care about the random decisions that they're going to make for strategy? And all these like details. And when they do the little ghost car thing, when they're
Hmm.
showing like Lando and Max in a qualifying and like the ghost car, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, only the nerdy people are going to be into these kinds of things. You
Exactly.
have to be
And
a little bit dorky.
of course. And I mean, it is a sport, and you see the athletes, and you see they have to train in very specific ways, and they have to worry about their weight because there's a weight limit, and they have to do this and do that, and focus on such and such muscles. But also, it's an engineering competition, and
Definitely.
as much as we were saying last week with Denise that the point of entry into the sport being it's a race and the first one to cross the line wins is easy enough, but after that you've got so much technical knowledge that you can learn, and yeah, you have to be a nerd to enjoy that, and we
Oh,
do.
definitely. Well, and it's funny too, like when I have conversations with people and they're like, well, this season's been kind of boring. I'm like, because you're only worried about the guy in first. I'm worried about the guy in first, obviously, as well. I need Lando to win. That's obviously top of my stress list. But after that, I'm looking at guy in 10, 11, 9, 8. Like, what are they doing? Because that's where it's exciting. And that's where you have to watch if, like, yeah, of course, if Max or Lando or whoever's ahead by 30 seconds,
Hmm.
that's not going to be exciting. But when you trickle down and you're watching from 6 to 10, that's very exciting. Like, one
Exactly.
little tiny thing, their pit stop is off by point one of a second. Like, that's a game changer. So if you're
Yeah.
not watching for those kinds of things, which is where the little dorky nerdy parts of us come out, then of
Hmm.
course it's going to be kind of boring. But
Yeah. And
nothing's
like I
boring
said,
about
like
this sport.
I started watching in April of 2023, and my first race was Baku 23, which was the most boring race in the history of the sport. But I think, and also I fell in love with Lando, and I've done several online tests to make sure that I've picked the right team. And apparently, the fact that I'm obsessed with England and also like history and also like winning, I had to go with McLaren. But when I first started watching, they were 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Um,
Exactly.
so it teaches you that what's interesting about the sport isn't necessarily at the time Max Verstappen with 30 seconds advance on everyone else. It is everyone that's at the back of the grid and still trying their hardest and building something that you can't yet see.
Yeah, it's true. It's and every single race for them is like there's a little tidbit in there that's going to teach them for the next race so they can just continue to grow and grow and grow. And those little bitty pieces of information are so important, which is part of this sport. And if you don't understand these things, then yeah, I guess you're going to be like, it's boring or whatever. But
Mm,
it's funny too cuz like for the sports, the way it's transitioned to the fan base now, like I don't, do the guys get that we get this? Like I'm starting to want, like, do they understand that the girls are like, we're really paying attention because we're more attention to detail than they are? And they're
mm,
like, because I have so many conversations with men that are, whatever, 40 plus, and they don't get why the fan base has all these young girls in it. And I'm like, you're not paying attention. We're paying
yeah,
attention, but you're not paying attention.
exactly. And I don't know if I've just been lucky, or I think I have, but also I've trained my algorithm to weed out the people who would react in that way, I think. And around me, people just don't watch Formula One. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever known someone in my real life, personal life, except for the friends that I made in 2021 who followed, liked, enjoyed, knew anything about Formula One.
Okay.
So I don't have this sort of discourse of either young women are only watching because the drivers are hot, which yeah, I can see them being very pretty at 300 kilometers an hour
Yeah.
with uh,
A helmet.
a helmet and
Giant helmet.
whatever. Or they don't understand it and they don't really pay attention to the details. The few male friends that I've made in this fandom because I'm active in it have all been completely adorable, understanding, and treated me like just another person who likes the Zooms.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I've definitely my community, Threads community, the group chat, obviously. I am in another group chat that's like from out of Toronto, and they go to meetups, and that group chat is kind of funny. I like being in there because I don't really say a lot, but I just like to,
Mm,
spy
peak.
because yeah, they're very different from us, very very different. And so that's a funny like little discourse there just to keep an eye on those
Mm,
others. But they're not bad, obviously. They're accepting when I say silly things or share whatever I share, but they're definitely different, and
mm,
it's a different vibe. But yeah, I think you kind of have to push all these naysayers to the side, and like
exactly.
the sport is only growing because of the fan base that's come into it. And like from a merch perspective, I was thinking about this morning, like the teams and the need to get with the program on who's watching the sport now, because the merch needs to
Yeah.
shift a little bit.
We need like nicer, more wearable things.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's nice to have merch, but it's also nice to be able to wear it on a daily basis, and you kind of want
exactly.
to look pretty on a daily
Yeah,
basis. So,
exactly.
which the teams haven't caught up yet, but some of the drivers have.
Yeah.
So if you go to, I'm repping my Lando sweatshirt
Yeah,
today,
there you go.
and he's started to make t-shirts that are a little more snatched in the waist and with nicer cuts. So I think it's starting to get there. Obviously, Lando's marketing strategy has always been very on point and in advance.
Yeah,
So it's understandable that he's started doing it and other people maybe haven't yet.
yeah,
But
they'll follow,
they will.
hopefully.
Yeah, they will. As soon as they see how much money he's making with it,
Exactly,
they will.
exactly. Your biggest buyers are the girlies, so let's get with
Hmm.
it.
Exactly. It used to be the kids, and now it's the girlies.
Yeah, well, and the girlies are gonna be buying for the kids too. That's the thing. Like
Hmm.
this fandom has a lot of moms, and the moms want their kids to be dressed up in cutie little
Exactly. We were talking about
driver
the
suits.
Dennis's little Ferrari coat for her kid that she mailed
Yeah,
to Corinne.
exactly. Yes,
Like, get with the
exactly.
program, guys.
Hello. Hello. Pay attention.
No, it
The,
is. It's true.
the,
And
the millennials have adult spending money now.
hmm.
And the millennial women like to spend our adult spending money on silly things for ourselves and for our kids. So
Oh
let's
yeah.
get with it.
Exactly. What would you say is your favorite part about Formula One?
This is a good question. The whole thing, obviously, I love, but it's got to be the community. And honestly, like I was saying, the group chat, like there's just something about that that keeps me going. Like sometimes I'm like, I fall off the bandwagon a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's like, I get overwhelmed, right? I'm like
Hmm.
spending all this time thinking about F1, watching F1 content, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm over it for a minute. And then you guys just suck me back in. Like, I love the group chat. Like, even right now, there's nothing really going on, but we're still like every day someone posts something or shares something, and like it just keeps it going and keeps
Mm,
me in there. And yeah, it's just the community. And like I love the threads community too. Like it's so fun on a race weekend to see what people are
yeah.
saying and connect and comments and whatever. So definitely the community from this has
Hmm.
been a big game changer.
It's also something that I've really loved, and uh, I'm guessing you've been through the same sort of discovery as I did, because just like me, if you're not a sports girly to begin with, it's not something that I had ever experienced, a community like this one, and having something that happens on a pretty regular basis. Now it's half of the weekends of the year, you have a race to watch,
Yeah.
and all of the people who love the sport will come together and through different online communities share their reflections and reactions, and it feels like really being part of something in a way that I had never experienced before. Even though I have been a One Direction fan, a Jonas Brothers fan, I've always loved cinema. I was a fan of different actors. You create communities through music and cinema, etc., but not in the same way as this.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point. That's exactly it. It is very interesting how we all come together, and I mean, I guess because it's just like every other weekend or whatever, a few weekends in a row, and then we take a break. Like maybe that's why. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, but I do love how everyone just comes together, and then we're all like, can't believe what's happening. And obviously people fight about their favorite drivers if they're crazy like that, but it's not for me. I don't really care. I'm excited if Max wins. I'm excited if Lando wins. I'm excited if Carlos wins. Like for me, I guess I'm a bit of a bandwagon jumper, but like I don't know. For me, it's not. I'm not gonna go to war because Lando lost. I'm like, well, that sucks. Try again next time, I guess. Like,
Exactly. It's,
ev-
but maybe it's also maturity. I think
yeah,
it would have been, maybe we would have reacted in a different way if we were teenagers. And
yeah,
the maybe is definitely.
that's true.
But yeah, and I do think it has to do with the fact that it's pretty much every other week, oh, every other weekend, because it's just enough that it keeps you coming back, but also doesn't, like you said, overwhelm you too much. Like you have both time to enjoy it and then time to be off it and digest what happened. Because sometimes a lot happens and
Yeah.
it can get a little exhausting. So I think it's a kind of a perfect balance. I do wish there were a little fewer races, because I think 24 races and 6 sprints in a year is too
A
much.
lot.
And maybe not even for the drivers, but for the logistics crew, the
Oh my gosh,
mechanics,
yeah.
the all the people who are really like pulling all-nighters and making it work. I think it's kind of a
Yeah,
little bit too
it's a
much. Mm.
lot, that's for sure. I also am interested to see how this is going to go with 11 teams on the track. It's going to be weird, and it's going to be weird like I wasn't even thinking about it. It's so obvious, but I like saw a video and the guy was like, "Well, now there'll be 6 teams out in Q1 and 6 teams or 6 drivers out in Q2." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird."
Oh
So it'll
yeah.
be
I hadn't thought about that either.
it's going to be
I
interesting.
it is going to be interesting. I don't know if, yeah, the whole traffic thing and
Mhm.
all being on track at the same time. Oh, that's gonna be nice. But
I look forward to seeing Cadillac too. I think that's kind of cool. We're Cadillac people. We like Cadillacs in this house, so
yeah.
I look forward to some Cadillac merch coming
Yeah,
my
they
way.
haven't What's your opinion on the new having a new team, the team being Cadillac and Cadillac having Checo and Valtteri?
I love the driver choice. That's great. I'm glad they picked up Valtteri and Checo. I think that's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I love Cadillac, like I say, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see, I guess. Like
Hmm.
they're not use my husband's very like into the engine side of things, so he was like, it's weird that they're not gonna use like a Cadillac engine because they really should be, but I suppose that will come over time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like everything in a sport, the engine situation is always weird, but yeah, so I guess we'll see. It should be interesting. I do look forward to the merch though, because I think Cadillac merch is gonna be nice.
Yeah, the first few images that we've had seem like really cool. I think it's gonna be a nice we're gonna have nice visuals and nice merch, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
But yeah, that I don't think it is possible for a team to arrive for their first year on the grid and have their own engine,
Hmm.
because I think it's far too much, too complicated, too much work, too much money, because it's
No, for sure.
extremely expensive. But I don't know. I maybe I should look into that. But I think I remember listening to Gunther Steiner's audiobook, and there was something about the difficulty of having, well, it's maybe it's probably very different for Haas because they're not um a motorist to begin with. They're not a car company. But
Right.
uh yeah, that's interesting. I maybe they will make one in the long run.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
suppose
wonder.
we have to see how they're gonna go just at all.
Yeah. Well, exactly. At all. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And Audie too, like that'll be interesting to watch because like what are they taking from Sauber already and then turn it like that'll be interesting. That also
Yeah.
could be nice. I don't really particularly like that team, but then merch could be nice. Audie's usually pretty fancy. Could be
Yeah.
nice. Guess
Mm-mm.
we'll see.
I hope they do well just because I want to see Nico on the podium more,
Yeah.
and I want to see him win races.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Exactly.
would be so nice. And that's the thing that I think that's the thing that I wanted to get back to is the midfielders and the fact that we get attached to them just as much as anyone, and maybe even more because it's so nice to see them do well. Like when in Brazil 2024, which was a hell show. But at the end of it, we had two Alpines on the podium.
I know, yeah.
And then what was it? I think it must have been um Zandvoort. Was it Zandvoort what Lando DNF'd? I think it was Zandvoort what Lando DNF'd, but I can't remember if it was this one or another one where I was watching with a friend and devastated that Lando DNF'd. And there was like a 5 second gap. And then we just looked at each other and went, Isaac's on the podium.
Exactly.
And so
I know.
you always have a
It's
reason
so
to
funny.
smile.
I know, it's true. That's what makes it fun, and I think that's, like, what's great about our group chat is, like, no one's, like, super committed, like, we all have our drivers, we all have our teams, whatever, but no one's, like, super committed, and we're all like that, like, a rookie wins or gets a podium, a rookie does this or that, we're, like, so excited for our little buddy, we're, like, so thrilled, and then, like, you say the underdogs get a podium. We're
Hmm.
like, we couldn't be more excited. One of my favorite moments of all time is like Esty Bestie on the podium. Like when he I was like, yeah, like that's the best.
It was
I
so
love those
cute.
moments. It's so cute.
Yeah. And
And
I say it, I feel like I say it every week, but I was in Silverstone last year. So I got to see Nico's first podium in 15 years in F1,
that's so cool.
plus Lando home win when in front of the very first Lando stand in history. That was quite overwhelming.
No doubt.
The emotion ran high.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
So jealous. Still haven't been to a race in real life.
You've never been?
Um, no. I mean, I live in Ottawa in Canada, so like Montreal is like literally a hop, skip, and a jump. But I don't know. For me, I'm like, I don't want Montreal to be my first race, so I'm just waiting it out. I'd love to go to Miami or Texas now that we're here in Florida. Miami's a very real possibility. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll
And you'd
see.
rather go to Miami than Montreal?
Just
Okay.
Montreal. Eh. Eh.
I like Montreal. I like the track. I think is really pretty.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing I have in mind about it. Except
Yeah.
for, of course, Lando got 5-second penalty in 2023 because of he unsportsmanlike behavior or
Eh.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
But other than that, I like the track because it's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's fair.
I'm not sure about Miami. I'm not sure about Miami.
I'm
But I
sure
think
it's
it
like
must be a nice
busy,
a
but
nice time, like a fun time.
no, yeah. I'm sure it's absolutely nuts, but I don't know. Just something about going to not Montreal. I think because it's so close. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't feel like
Mm,
a first race for me. It's just not my vibe, I guess.
yeah, well, do you know what? I think Spa is a 2.5 hour drive away from me, and
Oh well.
I haven't been there.
There you go.
Yeah, so same thing, I guess.
That's funny. Yeah.
Although it is on my list. I'd like it to be the next race I go to
That'd be
because I
cool.
think
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably and it's gonna be like I think from next year on it skips a year.
Oh,
Yeah, they wanted to delete it from the calendar and
okay.
but instead they're going to have it shoot, how do you say it in English? To like swap with another circuit. So it's gonna be
Oh,
1 year Spa and then the next year that other circuit, which I don't remember which one it was, and
okay.
then Spa and then yeah.
Oh, interesting. I have not heard of this.
Yeah,
Okay. That's interesting.
it is. I mean, I think it's kind of sad a little bit because when it comes to iconic historic circuits, I think Spa
Yeah.
is pretty far up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder why
But I'm
they did
guessing
that. But
it doesn't bring enough money.
yeah. All about the dollar bills. Exactly.
Mm, cash is king.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Well, yes, so I look forward to this season. We're like getting there. It's coming fast. I feel
Yeah.
like we just
Well,
said like see you next year and now it's here.
I think it's and the festivities start in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Hmm?
we've already had reveals, so livery reveals. So that's
Yeah.
fun. We'll see what's next. At V Carbs is kind of meh. I don't know. I don't know why they
Um,
didn't.
did they reveal their livery as well?
Yeah,
Yes, they
with
did.
Red
Yes, they
Bull.
did. I
Yeah,
saw it, but I don't. Yeah. Well, see, it didn't stick.
clearly. Yeah, it's kind of meh. I'm surprised. Like, it's funny, like how they kind of don't listen to stuff because like everyone loved that like I think in Miami when they had that like snow or Vegas where it was like the sparkly stuff. Like it was like
Hmm.
a different shade of blue and
Wasn't it
there was like a
Austin?
quarter
Because
zip,
I
maybe
remember
Austin.
thinking
Yeah.
because there was something about they had a denim one, and I think they did the denim like in Japan or something.
Yeah.
But they had the sparkles in Austin, and we all thought that makes no sense. You should have swapped.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's funny. But they had like some kind of like it was very pretty and it was like the most popular one. And I was like, why aren't we leaning this direction? Like
Yeah.
we love this color. Let's lean that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's like Alpine too. Like, can we please just lean into the pink? Just lean into the pink. Please.
They can't because they're I think I don't know. They have to keep being the villains that they are.
That's true. That is true.
So yeah. No, I don't know. It's that's my opinion. But no, I think yeah, it's I was surprised to see that they're not doing another event like the F-175 that they did last year.
Mhm.
I'm not sure it was as much of a success as they would have wanted it to be.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that quite went the way that they
Mm,
thought it was going to go.
yeah, because at the time, I really thought they were going to have events like this one from then on, like every year,
Okay. Yeah.
and they're not doing that
Guess
anymore.
not. Guess not. Hmm. Interesting.
Well,
Oh well.
yeah. Oh well.
Oh well. Yeah, so who's next? I was just looking at that earlier. Do I still have that up? It was on my Instagram page. Who's next on the list of liveries? I don't know where it went. But yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody else's designs.
Yeah.
The car looks interesting. The front wing
Yeah,
is
and
interesting.
mhm. I'm hoping the fact that the car is a little bit smaller, it's gonna make it more, like, easier to more nimble is kind of
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to get at, and
Yeah,
easier to overtake, because this is something that we've been struggling with for
that's true.
long
Yeah,
enough.
that's a good point. Very, very good point.
Mm.
It's going to be interesting. I look forward to it. It's going to be a whole new year.
Yep.
Where do we think our boy Lando's going to be, though? What's going to happen with him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But
Yeah.
who was it? Linus last week was saying that so it's not going to be last week when I post this episode, but
Yeah.
the other day, was
Somewhere
saying that
there.
if the Mercedes engine is as good as it seems to be, McLaren has a good chance of still being right at the top.
Okay.
And so maybe this year we'll have a fight between Lando, Oscar, and George, and maybe Kimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Excited to see that.
Interesting. I wouldn't hate a George drivers championship. I'm not gonna lie. A little Georgie Porgy needs
Yeah.
some love, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see
I
him
wouldn't
at the
hate that.
top, and how crazy it would be to see him celebrate a general championship win.
I know.
How would it go? How
I
awkward can
know.
he be?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Georgie Porgy. So cute. So
Yeah,
crazy.
he's adorable. Yeah,
Yep.
and such a diva.
I know. I know. Gotta love him.
Hmm. Well, I think with those great words, I'm going to thank you for being here with
Yeah,
me.
thanks for having me. This was fun. Little chat.
Yeah, I loved it. And I think you're going to be the last person on this winter series because we're getting close to Formula One
Yes.
starting again, and I might take a bit of a break at some point. So anyone who wants to know, keep an eye on Instagram because I'll let you know for sure there. But if you don't hear from me for the next 2 weeks, don't be worried about it. Thank you for listening until the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, download the episodes on Spotify. Do anything that you can to push me in the algorithm. And I love you. Bye.